What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now for today's commentary, we have some pretty good gameplay for the background here. We got some Battlefield 4 clips. I actually went ahead and live streamed this game about a couple of days ago on my Twitch live stream. If you guys want to check that out, by all means, I stream so many different games, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4. I still grind out 2042 every once in a while, obviously, to make commentaries about it, including, Call of Duty Vanguard again to make commentaries, and all the classics as well. Constantly over on the Twitch channel, we're doing old school Call of Duty streams, Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, tons of fun. If you guys want to be a part of that whole journey, by all means, go down to the link in the description. All my socials are down below. But while casually enjoying some Battlefield 4 gameplay, I gotta say, throughout the whole experience, it's just so fascinating to me how much content this game truly had at launch. Not even, counting DLC that came out in the future, including maps and stuff like that, but just the base amount of weapons, the base amount of maps, the base amount of attachments and camos and challenges and all these things you can mess around with and grind for when it comes to Battlefield 4. And to be completely honest with you, when it comes to Battlefield games, that's very crucial for the success of a title, Battlefield isn't like Call of Duty where everybody hops on to be, an absolute sweat lord. Not everybody's going to use the same meta weapon 24/7, In Battlefield 4, yes, you have the AEK or different weapons that are really powerful, but across the board, I see all types of variety and all types of different classes. Support roles, assault roles, medics. You got all types of different things that you can mess around with different weapons in those classes, and also weapons that go across the whole board. SMGs and shotguns and DMRs, things that every single class is available to acquire. Battlefield, in my personal opinion, the reason why I enjoy it so much, is the fact that it was able to give me a mil sim or a tactical sim environment where you can really deck out weapons, put all these crazy, exotic, nice attachments onto your guns and make them look absolutely sick, and then obviously giving me real, hardcore military vibes, intense action warfare, and all at the same time being able to bring it in and tone it to a really fast-paced, arcadey game. There's absolutely nothing in the world out there that can really compete with Battlefield in its own little genre. Besides, like I said, unless you want to branch out and play a milsim, but milsims in all reality are played completely differently than Battlefield, 110%. But back when I would consider Battlefield truly in its prime, at its peak, its height, I would say around, Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, even though some of those games didn't really start out too amazing, but over time they were perfected, and now today they're known as some of the greats. Those games are what gave me those vibes. Like I said, all the customization, all the variety in weapons, even though there's a class system in place there, like I said, with assaults, medics, engineer, whatever you want to call them, they're all in place. You could still branch out and try different weapons if you truly want to. You're not stuck to one exact class of weapons. And on top of that, the vibes and the atmosphere of each of those games were just simply phenomenal. Now, I'm not saying the vibes of Hardline or Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 1 got any worse, but what I'm saying here is after we got to around Battlefield 1, content became kind of harsh. Now, I can't really blame DICE when it comes to Battlefield 1, because let's be honest here, the game revolves around World War I. You can't really expect soldiers to be carrying around completely decked out guns during that war. So I give DICE a complete pass with that game, and honestly, that is probably one of the most iconic games in history, because I've never seen a development team manage a game revolving around World War I in such a way that it just worked perfectly. It fit amazing with the actual war itself without, making it boring. It was still a very fast-paced, arcadey FPS shooter. Absolutely phenomenal. But then came Battlefield 5, which I don't think the community really wanted another old-school Battlefield title. Like I said, the Battlefield community really loves a variety. They love their weapons, they love to deck out their attachments, they love the whole military scene of the game, and obviously we don't hate World War II, but after already having to deal with 2 to 3 years of World War I, we wanted our variety back. But then we got Battlefield 5, another old school styled game. Again, World War II. Call of Duty Vanguard actually did a pretty decent job with the attachment system. It doesn't really fit the World War II vibes, but it still allows you to completely deck out guns to add that fun factor to the game. Battlefield 5 took a little bit more of a strange approach with the attachment tree. I absolutely hated it. I never want to see the attachment tree return to another Battlefield game ever again. Some people enjoy it, but I like having actual attachments to put on the weapon that I see. And also with Battlefield 5, that is when the community truly got pissed off with the lack of content when it came to the maps. Battlefield 1, again, like I said, the game was pretty darn fun, good, and unique, so people kind of phased the maps off a little bit. It was still a problem, but they phased it off. Battlefield 5, no. The game was horrible at launch, and also on top of that, there was no content to keep us there at all. And we had to wait months and months and months just to get a singular map that was completely wide open and designed specifically for vehicles. And here we are, present day, and the same exact cycle is happening. There's no weapons in Battlefield 2042. There's no attachments in Battlefield 2042, and over half of them don't even do anything. They're just a complete reskin of another attachment. And on top of that, there's no content when it comes to maps with Battlefield 2042. And the worst part of this whole thing is that still to this date, we have no idea when there's going to actually be maps, or what type of content we're going to get in this game. The only information that we get are leaks. Tom Henderson put out a tweet the other day, and he's spitting absolutely nothing but facts. He says, industry standard for DLC after a game release is 30 to 45 days. We are now 10 weeks, 70 plus days after launch without even a tease at what the future holds for Battlefield 2042. Brutal expectations. 70 plus days and not a singular bit of information by the official developers about what's coming in to Battlefield 2042. And again, I don't want to hear anybody in the comment section say, well, this is how it was with every other Battlefield game. Who normalized that? I don't know who started this trend of saying Battlefield, does it all the time, so it's perfectly fine. No, I don't care what anybody says. This is stopping. It must stop. This is not a trend for Battlefield to follow. This is a horrifying path that's only going to kill the franchise more and more. Just because they did it the year before, and the year before that, and they barely got that much backlash, doesn't mean that you should repeat the same cycle and then watch your player base dwindle every single year. It got worse and worse. Battlefield 5 was already bad enough for the Battlefield community. And then here we are with Battlefield 2042 repeating the same exact cycle of having no content, and look at the player count. Like I said, it's getting worse and worse every single year. At a certain point, the community has to push back. I know around here on this channel, we make fun of Call of Duty a lot, and we don't like the direction they're taking with the game, but let's be honest here. We have whined and complained to a lot of people, when in my personal opinion, we're actually making very valid, complaints, but in a lot of other people's eyes, we're just whining. But apparently we're complaining so much about not having enough content in the game. Stop complaining about that. Just move on. And look where we're at now. Vanguard has released with the most maps and the most content, weapons, and all that good stuff that we've seen since what? Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3? Almost 10 plus years? We've been going through a drought for that long, with Activision screwing us over day after day after day, but we tried to make it our purpose to get it across and make a point that the lack of content is screwing over Call of Duty, and they resolved the issue. The more you make excuses for these developers to make the same problem, the same mistake, saying, it happens every single year, well, guess what the developers are going to think? They think it just happens every single year? Less work for us. We get to kick back and do this, and that, instead of having to do this, because they already expect the content to come, 6 months after launch anyways. The Battlefield franchise, in the current place that it's in right now, is pretty much the last franchise, the last game that releases content or DLC this late in the life cycle. Which to me is absolutely mind-boggling, because they got such a negative response from Battlefield 5, you would think that it's just logical, especially since these games don't release yearly. They're out for every 2 to 3 years. They had plenty of time to get feedback over how the freaking community was pissed off about the lack of content, and then they repeat the same problem? And it wasn't even with Battlefield 5, it happened in Battlefield 1! I wonder if that's the issue. Battlefield 1 was so successful that they thought the model of the game that they had there can continue the success, when all reality it was just the atmosphere and the actual game itself that made it so popular. The developer's passion for that title is what made Battlefield 1 so popular, not the horrifying microtransaction system model of not releasing any content to the community. Look guys, I don't know about you, but bad performance is not the only thing, ruining Battlefield 2042. It's the lack of content and also the horrible map designs that are already in the game. And the fact that we have to wait so long just to get probably one map introduced into a game that already has a horrible selection to begin with. it's going to take a long time for this game to even get to a normal state, which leads me to think that it will probably never get to a perfect state. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave that up to you guys to discuss down in the comment section. Thank you all so much for tuning in this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like button. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new, enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me, there's two ways to do so, Twitter and Discord, both those in the down description. And also, want to catch me live streams and video games over on Twitch, link that is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you all next one. Peace out.